Hi, my name is Ron Peters. I'm the President and CEO of the Fulton County Center for Regional Growth. And I'd like to welcome everyone to this Brownfield Developer Summit. Today's event is to introduce us in the Mohawk Valley to you. This is a one-of-a-kind collaborative effort across all 6 counties, including all economic development organizations, including 12 additional support economic groups in the Mohawk Valley. Countless hours of Zoom meetings, calls, sharing of documents went to this Mohawk Valley Brownfield Summit. But just a little background as to why we're here now, we had planned to have a day-and-a-half in-person summit starting today. But due to COVID concerns, we decided to postpone our main event until spring of 2022. At the spring event, we'll have speakers from the federal, state, local organizations providing you with all the tools you're going to need to start and complete a successful brownfield development project. We'll have developers sharing their brownfield development stories to give you the edge on the do's and don'ts of brownfield development. In addition, we'll have a session on capital stacking to show how to successfully finance your project. We'll have success stories from a handful of developers as well. You can pick their brain, go through their do's, their don'ts, their pitfalls, all the stumbling blocks, the roadblocks. We're going to walk away with a process to do a brownfield development. During the next few months, you'll be receiving reminders from us. You'll be notified as to the spring date for upcoming in-person day-and-a-half brownfield summit. But I'm sure you're asking, why the Mohawk Valley? We think of the Mohawk Valley as that unique place to live, work, and play, and I'm sure you will as well. In the Mohawk Valley, you have outstanding outdoor sports, skiing, hiking, boating, fishing. All types of activities are available to all. Our universities and educational institutions are recognized as some of the best worldwide, many having international affiliations. They currently offer sophisticated high-tech studies and act as the high-tech resource centers for industry across the globe. The Mohawk Valley has complete and easy access to all major interstates, airports, allowing access to all major population centers in the United States. Mohawk Valley offers some of the best utility rates in the nation. Our availability of water, other natural resources, place it high on the site selectors list of best places to relocate or start a business. In the past, Mohawk Valley had a rich cultural history and a prominent place in the Industrial Revolution. With the downturn of the economy, many companies moving overseas, Mohawk Valley was left with many environmentally sensitive properties, contaminated lands, and brownfield locations. Today, we will see those properties as opportunities, and that's why we're here. Opportunities for you to join on in the Mohawk Valley. This unique collaboration in the Mohawk Valley has produced incredible data on brownfields in all 6 counties that we plan to share with you. So please go to our website and take a look at the sites, the locations, and the incredible data that's available for you to review at your fingertips. If you need any more information or detail on any site, just contact the County Economic Development Organization on the property sheet. From our entire team, we'd like to welcome everyone on the webinar. None of these efforts would be possible without our sponsors. Next slide. I'd like to thank our presenting sponsors, the Mohawk Valley Economic Development District and National Grid. Additionally, I'd like to also give a special call out and special thank to the Region 2 EPA group. Very helpful on making this event successful. We also had additional sponsors. I'd like to thank Mohawk Industrial Development Agency, Hodgson Ross, LaBelle Associates, CNS Companies, Hampton Clark, Knapp Shaw, Young Sommer LLC, Schultz Heavy Cast Construction, Camoin Associates, Boiler Engineering, and the MRB Group. Additionally, I'd like to also give a special call out and thank the CCLR Group and Gene Hamrin for their team of professionals assisting us every step of the way and guiding our entire team through the entire process. Get that?
Mm-hmm.
And now I'd like to share a video presentation on our economy by Senator Chuck Schumer.
Hi, everyone. This is Senator Chuck Schumer, and it's my pleasure to join you for the first Mohawk Valley Brownfields Developer Summit. Thank you, Mohawk Valley's leaders, for organizing today's event. I make sure to visit the Mohawk Valley as often as I can, and it is one of my top priorities to fight for local businesses, grow our economy from the ground up. In Washington, I worked hard with my colleagues to secure once-in-a-generation federal investment in the nation's infrastructure. Our infrastructure bill, which the Senate passed, includes tens of billions of dollars to clean up pollution, invest in clean water, and expand broadband, and tens of billions for Superfund sites and for brownfields across the country. It's a good bill, an important bill, one that will help create jobs and lift the economy of the Mohawk Valley. And together, with the reconciliation bill, we're working hard to pass it. We have more work ahead of us to get this package to the president's desk, and I'll continue to work towards that goal with the needs of upstate New York at the top of mind. So thank you, everyone in the audience today, and for your interest in redeveloping brownfield properties in the Mohawk Valley. Stay healthy, stay safe.
Wow, that was a great talk by Senator Schumer. I'd like to thank Senator. He's one of our New York State senators. I have to tell you, from personal experience, Chuck has always been there for us. We've had numerous meetings with him, his economic development staff, as I'm sure every other group in the Mohawk Valley has as well. He stops every year and does a visit annually with all of our counties, and he'll meet one-on-one with us on specific projects. He's a huge supporter of the Mohawk Valley, and I'm sure that he'll also give us any kind of support you need to working together with us and trying to get a brownfield development project up and running until completion. Right now, I'd like to turn over to Claire Weston with the Center for Creative Land Recycling. It's going to have a few poll questions to put out there to our audience.
Thanks, Ron. We'd like to hear from all of you. So we're going to launch our first poll here. Okay. So you should all now be seeing a poll on your screen. Go ahead and respond to that. So this first poll is in what professional capacity are you connected to the brownfield issue in New York? And you can select all that apply: elected official or government employee, private developer, NGO or community organization, other private service such as legal, finance, or engineering, or a business/property owner. So let's see. The polls are coming in. Very good. Give you another moment to respond. Excellent. Okay, thank you all for responding. I'm going to go ahead and close this poll and share the results. So look at that. So we've got about 29% of you are elected officials or government employees. That's great. And 44% of you are on other service, so legal, finance, or engineering. And then just an even split between the other three. Excellent. So we're going to launch our next poll here, and that is, which of the following are most challenging in identifying, investigating, cleaning up, and reusing brownfields in New York State? And you should please select one. No financial incentives, length/uncertainty of regulatory practice, lack of information on sites, and access to funding at the local or regional level. Okay, excellent. So I'll give you some time to respond to that poll. The results are rolling in. Excellent. Okay, give you another moment. Fantastic. Thank you all. So I'm going to go ahead and close this poll and share the results. Okay, so we've got about 37% of you said length/uncertainty of regulatory practice, 23% of you said lack of information on sites. Well, we can help with that. And 40% on access, 40% of you said access to funding at the local/regional level. All incredibly valuable input. Thank you. I'm going to hide this poll. I'm going to share the next one here. What end user investments are you interested in? Please select all that apply. Mixed use, commercial, housing / affordable housing / residential, industrial, or manufacturing. Excellent. Okay, results are rolling in. Fantastic. Okay, thank you. I am going to go ahead and close the poll and share the results. Okay, so the majority of you did say mixed use, but a pretty even split here. Mixed use commercial looks like a very even split between all of the different end-use investment types. Okay, that is the end of our polls. Those are really valuable. I hope our county reps that you'll be hearing from in a moment took note. They'll be speaking to you more about this. And back to you, Ron.
Claire, I think they were great questions. That was great that, a lot of site information. That's something that we have in the Mohawk Valley. Everyone online on this presentation, go to our website, take a look at that. You've got incredible project property information, site locations, all site details. You've got a map you can look at. It's one of the best sites going. Take a look at that. And also, I was a little surprised about the financial incentives. We can show you how to stack your project and how to make that project successful. Go to the website, and I look forward to seeing you in person in spring. Thanks for the feedback. At this point, I'd like to start the introduction to the leadership team of our 6 counties of the Mohawk Valley. Now, keeping in mind, there's a story to be told here by all 6 counties, how we got together, and we have a story to tell. Each county is somewhat different in the makeup, population-based, industry-based, but we're all weaved together in the Mohawk Valley. Together, we have a dynamic opportunity here. So each county will have their own individual story to tell with a common thread to the Mohawk Valley. So let's begin with James Hannes, Gloversville Downtown Development Specialist representing Fulton County. James.
Yes, thanks, Ron. Good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to be a part of today's panel, speaking on behalf of Fulton County and Gloversville. My name is James Hannes. I am the Downtown Gloversville Development Specialist. My office primarily focuses on the revitalization in the city of Gloversville, which is the largest city in Fulton County by population and was once the glove-making capital of the world. Manufacturing environments of glove making was not clean work. Everything from harvesting buckskin to the final processing portion of creating gloves was really anything but clean, and it left an environmental impact on dozens of sites throughout our city. But Gloversville really took charge in its own remediation in 2019 when we were awarded an EPA site assessment grant. That grant led us to be able to identify 47 total brownfields across the city, and 25 of those 47 have actually had phase 1 assessments being completed. So in addition with the EPA site assessment grant, we were also awarded a BOA nomination study to help us lay the groundwork for our official designation. But throughout that process, we were able to scrub the list of our identified brownfields and really prioritize them based on community needs and impact. 4 of those priority sites are going to be what I'll be speaking about today, and you see that on the slide deck in front of you. Also, on top of those incentives, the city has submitted an LWRP planning grant, which is currently waiting approval at the Department of State. We'll be hearing on that very soon from them. But in total, the city really initialized about $600,000 in resources to build this sort of incentive basket to help spur redevelopment and reuse. So on top of those incentives that I just spoke about, all of our sites are also great candidates for National Grid redevelopment resources, which in Fulton County, we have a lot of practice and a lot of experience working with National Grid on successful projects. But aside from the incentives, our sites also benefit from what we market here on a countywide basis, including proximity to historic downtowns. We're close to multiple tourist destinations. Fulton County has 44 lakes, including the Great Sacandaga, all within 10-minute drives of Gloversville. And we have a lot of green spaces, hiking trails, biking trails, major highways, and access to trade routes. But our sites are versatile in the variety of uses that they are based on their locations. So Reisdorf, which is located on 8th Avenue, it's owned by the city of Gloversville, has the ability to expand into surrounding 35 acres, right? Decker Records, located on 80 Lincoln Street, leads our sites in total square feet for a structure. Daniel Hayes, which is located in our downtown core, offers critical mass potential, and that's on Fulton Street. And Tradition Leather, located on 11th Avenue, is adjacent to an elementary school, which tees itself up perfectly for some potential residential use. Now, 3 of those 4 priority sites are also located within opportunity zones, so we're starting to see the stack that we can build on these projects. But the momentum is not stopping in Gloversville, right? Fulton County was also awarded a separate EPA site assessment grant that's allowing us to learn more about all of the properties on a countywide basis, including Gloversville. We're taking an even closer look at Gloversville with that grant too. So we're working adamantly to provide as much information on these properties as we possibly can. And with relationships to organizations like Embed and CClear, we've been able to do that. We've been able to build these property sites in a way that we can market them beautifully towards reuse. So I'm looking forward to speaking more in person about these at our spring conference. If you have any questions in the meantime, my information is on the slide deck that you can download, and I'll be happy to talk more about these. So I'm ready to pass it on over to our friends in Herkimer County, John Piesick with the Herkimer County IDA.
Good morning, everyone. Today, sorry that we can't see everyone in person. That was our goal in the beginning, but I think this will give you a flavor of what you have to look forward to in the spring. I recommend highly too that you look at the deck, the slide deck, to see the sites that we've listed in Herkimer County, though there is more, and we're actively doing projects throughout the county. One of the things that really got us going in this was our EPA assessment grant, and with the help of our consultant HRP, we were able to do quite a few projects through that assessment grant. We've also worked with our local regional solid waste authority for reduced tipping fees, put together very aggressive pilots, and also have applied for a BOA where we're working with Fulton County in the Dolgeville area. We've also worked extensively with our other neighbors, Mohawk Valley Edge, which you'll hear some things on Oneida County later, but Charlestown Mall, which is a large facility that covers 2 counties as well. We like to partner and make sure that everyone's on the same page when it comes to the development that we want to do in the Brownfield area. Today was a day that we were going to have an opportunity maybe to bring some of your developers to our sites. I believe if you contact anyone that's presenting today, we'd be happy to set up individual meetings where we could tour the sites, talk about individual incentive programs, work with multiple counties if you're looking to do various projects that could span throughout our region. When we sat down and started talking about this event, we knew that we needed to draw attention to the upstate New York area, especially Mohawk Valley region, to let everybody know that we are eager to make these brownfields productive again. The sites that you'll see from other counties today prove that. Some of the things that we are working as a group towards also prove that as an organization, as a Mohawk Valley economic development region, that we're all playing the same to help improve what's going on in our area. Herkimer County, located in the central, right in the dead center of New York, we've been very blessed with a lot of development as of recently. Amazon, Pepsi, Tractor Supply, to name a few. We've brought in a few thousand jobs, and we can see that this can continue with the development of these brownfields. We're also excited that one of our large landfills that have been in place for a long time, or has been closed for a long time, will be put into use for a solar project. 7 megawatt system, actually 5 AC, and that'll be a community solar project. So that landfill will be giving back to the community. We're excited to see that happen. Herkimer County is one of the few counties that does solar, wind. We have 37 turbines, and then we also do hydropower as well. Thank you very much for your time. Please reach out at any time. My contact information is on there. And at this time, I'd like to pass it over to my friends in Montgomery County.
Hi, everyone. My name is Vinny Nikosha, and I'm with Montgomery County Business Development Center. I want to welcome you all here today. It's definitely a great event, and I think will be very beneficial for all of us going into the future. And our office really serves as the primary economic development and planning entity for the county. You know, we handle everything from grant writing to local incentives, and to just partnering with developers and businesses in the area. And I think that's one of the most important things that we pride ourselves on, is really being a true partner with any developer or businesses coming into the county, not just through the entire process, but years afterwards as they established throughout the county. We've definitely worked a lot over the past few years and on our greenfield sites and industrial parks, and we've had a lot of success there, attracting Fortune 500 companies like Target, Beech-Nut, Dollar General, and even Amazon. But now we're really starting to shift focus on some of our brownfield sites and the importance of getting them back up and running and on the tax rolls. So I know we work closely with Amsterdam as well, which Amanda will take over in a minute, but we do have a $300,000 EPA community-wide assessment grant that we did receive, and we're going to be starting phase 1 on 4 of those sites. One of ours is in medical linens in the village of St. Johnsville, and that's a 0.4 acre site with laundering services facility that is kind of a dilapidated building, and we're looking to get going on that. But also we have the former Beech-Nut site, which is actually in a finalization process for brownfield opportunity area. And that's an exciting project that we've had for a while now. More information on that is at exit29project.com. And there we're really looking for a partner that wants to do some types of mixed use, potentially have some green space, marina, but we can definitely talk more about any of those informations if you want to reach out and have our contact information. But just want to hand it over to Amanda, who's doing some great work in Amsterdam and has a lot of opportunities in her city as well.
Thank you, Vinny. My name is Amanda Bearcroft. I'm the Director of Community and Economic Development for the City of Amsterdam, as well as the Executive Director of the Amsterdam Industrial Development Agency. Like our panelists before and after me, Amsterdam has a very large industrial past. Being a city that was built around the Mohawk River and the Chuctanunda Creek, we were at one point the largest carpet manufacturer in the world. And when that industry left in the late 1900s, we struggled as a city to find our identity and find out what our next steps were, especially with a population decrease and a lot of empty and vacant industrial buildings. In the past 3 years, we've been very successful in leveraging state and federal funding, as well as keeping wonderful partnerships with our state agencies. We were the DRI Round 3 winner for the Mohawk Valley. And through that, it offered a lot of new opportunities and incentives for the city of Amsterdam that it didn't previously have. In that time, we had designated a brownfield waterfront heritage site over on the south side in our downtown area, which is mostly our DRI boundary. We're in the process right now of designating 2 other BOA study areas, one in the northern neighborhood and one in the east end, as well as being awarded to update our new LWRP plan, which was originally from 1993. And just looking at an overall holistic and strategic way of updating our plans and offering incentives to people that want to invest and develop in Amsterdam. As James had mentioned, with Fulton County, we also offer a lot of stacking options. We partner very heavily with National Grid through their Brownfield and Main Street programs for funding. We offer pilots, and we really look at how we can quilt together funding opportunities to someone who wants to develop in this area. We've had a great partnership with Montgomery County and their EPA assessment grant. We're actually working with them on one site with the city of Amsterdam, as well as applying for our own EPA grant this round, which we're hopeful that if awarded, we'd be able to have more phase 1 and phase 2 and just more environmental knowledge of sites within the city of Amsterdam that we can then offer as incentives to developers and just find out more information on these sites. You can see our information on available sites on this deck here. One that we're focusing on is the Amsterdam Paper Mill, which is along Forest Avenue. It's a roughly 4-acre site that has been sitting vacant, but very near Route 67, our major thoroughfare in and out of Amsterdam, right off of the New York State Thruway, as well as a West Main Street gateway area, which is a compilation of multiple sites, mostly owned by the city, some that we are foreclosing on. So we're really looking for a block-to-block development. that's focused on mixed-use commercial in that area. Again, our contact information is on the deck to contact myself or Vinny, and I know both of us would be happy to talk to you about not only these available sites, but multiple others that we have available within Montgomery County.
And now we'd like to turn it over to our friends in Otsego County.
Hi, thanks Montgomery County. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for being with us today. As mentioned, I'm Megan Marino. I'm the Director of Finance and Administration for Otsego Now, or the Otsego County IDA. Otsego County and the IDA are dedicated to providing incentives and assistance to developers working and expanding in our county. And I'll give you a few examples. Corning, which has 75 facilities worldwide, has spent almost $25 million expanding its Oneonta campus in the last 4 years, and that growth will continue. Custom Electronics, a leader in ultra capacity development, energy storage, and advanced electronics, recently completed a $2.4 million expansion, and they're also continuing to grow. And Excess Power Systems of Tennessee purchased Ioxis in 2020, an industry leader in ultra capacity cell and modular manufacturing, and is working to expand their lithium battery production in Otsego County. Otsego County and the IDA help these companies and many others with pilot agreements, sales tax exemptions, New York State Excelsior tax credits, CDBG grants, and various funding support for their expansions. Opportunity zone benefits have also been offered to those within that zone. Our county is now looking to build an innovation acceleration center focused on advanced manufacturing development. In addition to the brownfield sites listed below me here, our county has other available parcels ranging from 3 to 27 acres. And in 2020, the IDA was awarded a $1.2 million EDA grant for infrastructure upgrades and extensions in our Richfield Springs Business Park. So why Otsego County? Well, our county is home to 2 colleges, SUNY Oneonta and Hartwood College. We have 2 hospitals, Fox Hospital and Bassett Medical Center. The southern part of our county is served by Norfolk Southern Rail, and we have a municipal airport. We also have several interchanges off Interstate 88, and of course we have an abundance of recreational activities, including the Baseball Hall of Fame, Glimmerglass Opera, and 2 privately owned baseball camps, which draw over 60,000 visitors a year. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention our many lakes, trail systems, and state parks. Lastly, the city of Oneonta, the village of Cooperstown, and the county of Otsego have been working together to build additional workforce housing. It's a critical issue for our county, and I'm sure it is for every other county that's on this panel. Building is about 75% complete on the Dietz Street lofts in the city of Oneonta, which is a mixed-use, mixed-income housing development. Our IDA also recently provided tax benefits for the Ford Complex revival in the city of Oneonta, which is a housing project being undertaken by Springbrook, who is one of our largest employers. And plans for additional housing are underway for Cooperstown in 2022. In 2020, a couple months after the start of COVID-19 pandemic, upstate New York saw a large amount of residents from the tri-state area moving upstate, and this prompted our agency to start a marketing campaign to show them that Otsego County should be a top option for their move. So that campaign is now in its second phase and is focusing more heavily on business expansion and relocation. It's a targeted ad campaign, but the ads and the videos can be found on our website at otsegonow.com. I'm happy to answer any questions. My contact information is below if you would like to reach out and speak with us more. But at this time, I will pass it over to Julie at Schoharie County. Thank you.
Thank you, Megan. Welcome to Schoharie County. We are in the southeast corner of the Mohawk Valley region. We are at the northern tip of the Appalachian Regional Commission, which lends some unique opportunities to us. And we are immediately adjacent and counted in the Albany, Schenectady, Troy metropolitan statistical area. So while we're pleased to be part of the Mohawk Valley, we actually can benefit from being part of multiple regions. We are also bookended by the $24 billion that New York State is investing in nanoscale technology. We're about 60 minutes to the southeast of Utica and under 40 minutes from the University of Albany campus. But unlike our industrial friends throughout the Mohawk Valley, we have been anchored by SUNY Cobleskill for a century. In fact, we were known as the breadbasket of the American Revolution. So our traditions and our industry have really been rooted in agriculture. SUNY Cobleskill in recent years has spun off some significant technology and drawn some significant investment through Empire State Greenhouses, a vertically integrated carbon neutral initiative for food, waste, and energy. They are also in the process of accelerating technology with Caribou Biofuels. It's a gasifier technology that it has multiple uses for municipalities and even forest control in California. Schoharie County is pleased to acknowledge about $130 million worth of investment that's proposed currently. These investments are those that I've mentioned, but also within our opportunity zones and as it relates to redevelopment of significant sites. The sites we've identified here, while not specifically acknowledged as brownfield sites, there's some suspicion around these sites. In my experience, my name is Julie Piketty with SEEK, the Schoharie Economic Enterprise Corporation. We have only been at it about 2 years here in Schoharie County, but I bring with me about 25 years of real estate development and economic development experience, where I've secured millions of dollars for incentives for projects and spent about a decade in brownfield redevelopment. A lot of that work has taught me how to stack the capital that has been mentioned across the counties so far. We know how to pull those incentives together to make a project move. The initiatives that we've undertaken to date, and as an organization that's privately funded and privately led for economic development in Schoharie County, we're really looking to a 21st century economy. We have a digital strategies initiative that is underway that's about Wi-Fiing villages. It's about getting businesses online so they're more resilient. We also want to leverage the fact that as a rural county, we do have 92% broadband coverage. Anecdotally, some of our advisors have said that their internet service in West Fulton, New York, which is a rural area tucked in the woods, is faster and better than the office that she has in Palm Springs. We do invite you to explore and invest in Schoharie County. The Adler and STEAM 157 represent our spa culture that's still alive, and $20 million worth of investment proposed in the village of Sharon Springs. STEAM 157 is the notion that county government is ready to accelerate science, technology, engineering, ag, art, and math in a facility that they'll reform. It was once a jail that they're looking to add multi-tenants to. So again, we had hoped to visit you in person, but we invite you to explore and invest in Schoharie County and join us to create a 21st century for our community for years to come. With that, I'll turn it over to our friend and 6th County, Oneida County, with Christian Mercurio.
Thanks, Julie. My name is Christian Mercurio, and I'm Vice President of Planning and Development for Mohawk Valley Edge. But first, I'd like to thank the US EPA, CCLR, and MVEDD for their amazing work on this upcoming summit, which we very much look forward to seeing you at this spring. But Mohawk Valley Edge is a not-for-profit economic development organization. We specialize in site development, location intelligence, business attraction and retention, and community development initiatives in Utica, Rome, and the greater Oneida County area. You may have heard that recently the EDC awarded Edge the Economic Developer of the Year award for the Wolfspeed Silicon Carbide Fab at the Marcy Nano Center. We're the stewards of Griffiths Business and Technology Park in Rome, which is home to one of the 7 FAA unmanned autonomous systems test sites, and the Rome Research Laboratory that has about a $4 billion impact on our region alone. And on the smaller end of the scale, we were recently awarded a technical assistance grant through the US EPA and CCLR to bring the counselors of real estate to one of our brownfield sites in Rome, New York. So we're working at every end of the scale, from building advanced manufacturing ecosystems all the way down to redeveloping and revitalizing brownfields in our downtowns in Oneida County. So I won't really go through each of these sites, but what I will do is, say that most of these sites range, from 3 to 10 acres. They range all the way from residential to industrial uses. And there are only a handful of sites in a portfolio of about a dozen across Oneida County that we are advancing to market. And thanks to a recent $300,000 US EPA assessment grant, so many more are to come. Right now, we're fortunate to have leadership and momentum in Oneida County to guarantee the success of any investment, and along with some of the most creative incentives in the Northeast, I'd go ahead and say. So, you see the available sites here just show a handful: Canterbury Press, Enterprise Way, the former Rome Cable, which is the site where the counselors of real estate are going to be throwing their weight behind. And when it comes to creative incentives, we have a pre-approved 20-year pilot increment finance district for any development that takes place on that site. So talk about clarity and creativity. We bring that to the table with some of our high-profile brownfield sites. But what I really want you to recognize is that when you invest in this region, whether it's Oneida County, Herkimer County, Schoharie County, not only are you looking at a financial return on your investment, you're getting a team of economic development professionals, planners, community leaders, and elected officials that'll be with you every step of the way. And you've heard that a few times, and it's true. I've been working in this region for almost 20 years and haven't seen anything like it in my travels. You've got a team here that solves problems, puts together the most creative incentive packages in the Northeast, and ensures the success of your project, not only during development, but long after you've built it, you have it up and running. We're not going to leave you hanging, and that's what's really neat about the team and everybody you've heard from so far today. We know that jurisdictional boundaries don't matter to developers, and they don't really matter to us. And I think you've heard that here. Across the region, we support each other, we learn from each other, we celebrate each other's successes. Like a DRI award in Gloversville is only going to strengthen a DRI that's ongoing in Amsterdam. A project in Herkimer County means prosperity in Oneida County. John Pisak mentioned earlier that we're working together to revitalize sites across borders to our mutual benefit. And that's why the state's largest ever Restore New York grant was awarded in the Mohawk Valley to the Exit 29 project that you heard about, because of the groundswell of support. You've had planners and economic developers and elected officials from Rome all the way to Cobleskill supporting this project. And those are the things that we do. So hopefully, of all the messages you take home, that's the one. We are one team, and we share one vision for the Mohawk Valley. But that's the rationale behind this summit. That's why we put this thing together. So someone who really was, probably, the brains behind this operation and putting this together is Heather Devitt of Mohawk Valley Economic Development District. And I'll pass it to you, Heather, to take everybody on a tour of the resources.
Great, thanks, Christian. Before I start sharing my screen, I do want to mention that we will be taking questions and have answers at the end of this. So if you do have any questions, there is a box over to the right where you can drop your question in, and we will get to it at the end of the program here. So I'm going to go ahead and start sharing my screen with everyone. I'm going to reduce myself. If anybody has any questions on any of the sites that we've seen so far, this is where you're going to want to go. It's mved.org. Across the top, you can see that we have a brownfield drop-down box, and this is really the landing page for everything brownfields. So if you start here at the About Brownfield, you find out a little bit about what a brownfield property is, our developer summit, which unfortunately has been postponed, and any of our sites. If you click on any of the links, it'll bring you to our property sheets. But again, back to the brownfield sites, It's 6 counties, 1 region, 1 vision. This talks a little bit about the Mohawk Valley and what we have to offer here. And then it also has all of our partners that have helped put this Brownfield webinar and the summit together. The Brownfield sites, which is probably the most important piece of this whole website, it has our property sheets here. If you click on this one, it will bring you to the handouts that are also attached in off to the right-hand side. This one has hyperlinks if you're looking for, even though it has all of the sites, if you're looking for a specific site, you can hyperlink to it and it will bring you directly down to the site that you're looking for. This will also, and we're going to get to this in a minute, this, if you click on this, it will bring you to our story mapping. Also in here, we have the Brownfield financial incentives. Again, this is one of the handouts that's included in off to the right. So you can either download it from the webinar, or you can go to our website here and find that same information. Again, we have all of the sites here. It's broken out by county. You can see a picture of the site. You can see what it looks like. And if you want to pull up an individual profile sheet, you don't want to pull up all of them, you can just go ahead and click on the site name and it'll bring up a profile sheet for you to look at. And again, at the very end, you'll see our partners here. The Brownfield event tab is where you will find, going forward, anything on the event that we have, the new date, any information, agenda, things like that. This is where you're going to want to come to. You know, right now, unfortunately, the event has been postponed, but you can see that we have our first webinar series that we're all on now. If you guys, after this event, this is the place that we're going to put Senator Schumer's little video and Walter Mungden's video that's coming up. We'll also have the slide sheets on here as well. So if you do have any questions after the webinar ends, come right to this website. Again, I do want to mention that the event that we're going to be having in the spring is going to be held at no cost for our attendees because of the generosity of all of our sponsors. National Grid and MVED are the presenting sponsors, but to see the rest of our sponsors, you just go to our Brownfield sponsors, and they're broken out. There's a little blurb about who they are, what they do, and there's also a link to the site. So if you're interested in finding out more about some of our sponsors, or if you're interested in finding out what they do or contacting them, you can just go ahead and click on any of their links and it'll take you right directly to their homepage. And then I'm going to pass it back to Christian, where we're going to talk about the summit site mapping. And this is actually, again, it's linked in 2 different places. It's linked here in the drop-down box, the summit site story map, and it's also linked here on this Brownfield site. Either way you can get to it, it shows up, it's the same information.
Thanks, Heather. You're driving on this one, so let's walk through this. But I'd like to further kind of demonstrate how we're working together. We developed this kind of interactive map, and it continues to evolve. So we want you to go ahead and bookmark this thing and kind of check it out every now and then, and we'll continue to add sites and layers. But it's just a simple public interactive map that allows you to pan and zoom around and understand the geography, at least, of the sites and communities. Always will point you to the top where it either says summit site or click here for more information. That'll always take you back to the website that Heather just went through. So thanks, Heather. And everything looks amazing, you know. So down below, if you look at the numbered thumbnails, you know, that's where you can kind of jump directly to sites. So if you know exactly what you want to go to, just kind of jump to the site, like jump to number 7 to take you to, you heard from James Hanna's, and that's one of the sites in his portfolio, or Fulton County's portfolio, the Tradition Leather site. And you can zoom in, zoom out, just like you would on Google Earth. You could scroll around with your mouse. You'll see that it kind of sends you to Gloversville. The pink on this map particularly represents the opportunity zones that are approved in New York State, or at least in the Mohawk Valley. And then if you go over to the little thumbnail to the left, you'll see a little description, but if you click that down arrow, it just kind of, opens up the picture. And if that picture is not big enough for you, you can go up to the far right corner up there and see a full shot. And we continue, and we work together here. And this is one of those things where we work together to, we sent up a drone pilot to go take brand new shots of everybody's sites. And we'll continue to do that, right along as we add sites. So like if you jump to number 12 to the Steam 157 site in the village of Schoharie, kind of same thing. You're looking at the most recent aerial photography. You're looking at the property boundaries. You can zoom in, zoom around, and it's pretty much the same imagery that you're going to see in Google as far as the geography goes. And again, it kind of shows you what's around in the village of Schoharie too. So again, up in any of those thumbnails will do the same thing. This is very simple. This isn't. If you ever want to go back to the site information, always jump up to the title block, and there's a couple different links that will take you right back to the website, and that's where you can access the property profile sheets. And then you can contact John Piesick, Amanda Bearcroft, James Hannas, Megan, Julie, all the respective site reps and kind of leaders of economic development in those counties. So this is going to stay live. It's going to continue to evolve. We're going to add new sites that are beyond just the profiles that are published here. And we're just going to kind of keep working together on this. This is just one of those things that, we feel that, whatever we can do to collaborate and encourage each other's successes, we're all just going to benefit. So bookmark this link, check in every now and then, and again, go back to the property profile sheets to contact the right people for each of these sites. Thanks, Heather.
Thanks a lot, Christian. I believe we're going to be handing it off to the Walter Mugden video is next. So Claire, off to you.
It's now my pleasure, to introduce EPA's acting regional director for Region 2, Walter Mugden. Walter served in this role since January 2021, but he's had a long career in EPA, including leadership roles as acting deputy regional administrator and director of the Emergency and Remedial Response Division, someone we're no strangers to around here, and we're very thankful for. Walter and the talented Brownfields team under the direction of Terry Wesley have been available to support all of our municipalities seeking advice and guidance in our Brownfield journeys. They've been by our side at interagency working groups, at on-site meetings, and provided critical funding for assessment and cleanup grants across the region, and just about every one of us can speak to that. They've supported this webinar and the summit through their technical assistance to Brownfield provider, the Center for Creative Land Recycling, or CCLR, as we've said maybe 100 times during this presentation. But they've been instrumental in all aspects of planning and executing the event. What a great team the US EPA and CCLR have made here. We can't express how grateful we are for EPA's support for this event, all of the resources and their continued support across the region. We couldn't do any of this without them. We wouldn't be where we are without them. So now we'll hear from Walter Mugden.
Good afternoon. I'm Walter Mugden, the Acting Regional Administrator for EPA Region 2. Our region serves New York, New Jersey, Puerto Rico, and the U.S. Virgin Islands, as well as 8 federally recognized Indian nations. It's always a treat to talk about the importance of cleaning up and rehabilitating brownfields. I'm proud that EPA can be a catalyst to help make communities safer and healthier places to live, work, and play by supporting brownfields cleanups in different ways. Revitalizing the land in which we all live is paramount in addressing climate resiliency and improving the health of our environment, which will ultimately improve human health. This is, and always has been, central to EPA's founding mission. Redeveloping brownfields has been an important part of EPA's work since our brownfields program's inception in 1995. And in the last 2.5 decades, it has proven to be immensely successful in improving the quality of life for the people and the economic and social well-being of our local communities. While all of EPA's work is aimed towards making people's lives and our environment healthier, few programs are as transformative as the EPA Brownfields program. Earlier this year, I announced grants for 3 entities in Mohawk Valley that will be assessing and cleaning up brownfields in order to restore them to productive reuse. First, the Fulton County Center for Regional Growth has received a $300,000 grant to conduct 8 environmental site assessments, develop 4 reuse plans, and support community outreach activities. Next, the Greater Mohawk Valley Land Bank has received an $800,000 grant to update a brownfield site inventory, select sites for investigation, and conduct 15 environmental site assessments. Grant funds will also be used to clean up 5 properties, develop 6 reuse plans, and support community outreach activities. And finally, the Mohawk Valley Economic Development Growth Enterprises Corporation has received a $300,000 grant to develop a brownfield site inventory, conduct 14 environmental site assessments, and prepare 3 reuse plans, as well as to support community outreach activities. That's always an important element of all of these grants. This type of investment exemplifies the Biden-Harris administration's commitment to advance economic opportunities and address environmental justice issues in local communities, especially those that have traditionally been underserved. Since the start of EPA's Brownfields Grants Program, we have given 10 distinct grants totaling more than $2.1 million to support brownfields cleanup and assessment work in the Mohawk Valley. We look forward to continuing our engagement in this important area. In closing, I want to thank everyone participating today for your dedication to the critical work of addressing brownfields in your communities. It truly makes an impact that can be seen and felt for years to come. Thanks.
Hello, everyone. I'm Steve Smith. I'm Executive Director of the Mohawk Valley Economic Development District. We're one of 9 federally economic development districts in New York State. We are the federal arm to the Economic Development Administration under the U.S. Department of Commerce, but we are a private not-for-profit. We're a 501c3 not-for-profit. I'm here to take us to the finish line, just giving a few of my closing comments, as well as start a discussion with your questions. So if you have a question, please put it in the question box. You know, just listening to our webinar so far this morning, why the Mohawk Valley? I say, why not the Mohawk Valley? The change of seasons alone is worth living here, raising a family here, going to school here, going to college here. Our unique abundance of available sites that are available to redevelop. Just listening to our experts from our economic development organizations and our 6 counties, they have unbelievable passion and knowledge about their sites, about their communities, and they're all very eager to work with developers to redevelop the brownfields that we have listed for you today. The site locations, the mapping, the drone footage, the profile detail sheets, all of that information, again, as Heather Devitt did say, is on our website at mvedd.org. I want to say thank you to so many people to help that have made this webinar series possible for this Brownfield Developer Summit, the whys and where to invest in the Mohawk Valley. First of all, our sponsors. If we could show this, the sheet showing our sponsors, without them, this wouldn't have been possible. We want to say thank you to our 2 guest speakers, Walter Mugden, who you just heard, the Acting Regional Administrator, the EPA for Region 2, and also our Senate Majority Leader, the Honorable Chuck Schumer. Thank you again to all of our county leaders of our economic development organizations and so many others that have impacted what we do here in the region. We want to make sure and hope that you join us for our live event next spring. We were hoping to have that today, but due to COVID, we backtracked and we decided to go with a live event next spring. What we want to do now is go to our discussion questions. And I'm going to take one from Steve Eckler. I know Steve pretty good. I've worked with Steve. His question is, good to see the efforts to create an inventory of available brownfield sites. With pandemic-related supply chain issues increasing, can you discuss what collaborative cross-county efforts are being undertaken to promote adaptive reuse of brownfields underutilized sites for supply chain requirements, which are necessary to support the region's targeted primary manufacturing markets? I think we could go to either the folks at Montgomery County, they're in the supply chain, or Oneida County, or we could go to Herkimer County as well. So John, Christian, or Vinny, if one of you want to take the question from Steve Eckler.
Well, I would definitely say Herkimer and Montgomery County are kind of leading the charge on this. But Steve, you make a good point. This is this is the primary incentive behind. I mean, other than the obvious, right? Blight, property values, and environmental justice. The primary driver and what's opened the doors and opened up some funding avenues for our laser focus on brownfield sites is. We're starting to see increased demand in across all industries, and not only expansion, warehousing, and supply chain, but even in now in mixed use and housing. But yeah, we're running out of sites. I think region wide, like we're running out of acreage. Like all the easy stuff is taken, so we really have to focus on revitalizing these sites. And hey, it's not a hard sell since they're so robust as far as infrastructure and proximity to talent goes. So it just makes perfect sense. I mean, it made sense 100 years ago. We're just kind of rediscovering that now. We just have a few environmental hurdles to overcome, but it's so good to see regional leaders and elected officials, especially around here, really throwing their weight and weight behind these sites and not being afraid to tackle some of these complex issues. Really makes it a lot easier going into this when you have all that financial and political will behind it.
Thank you, Christian. Anyone else want to join? Go ahead, John.
Yeah, thanks, Steve. Good to see you. What I'm excited about is our Union Tool site in Frankfurt. For years, it was a foundry, a forgery. They made shovels and pitchforks and other things there. And now the site is near ready. We're working with the developers. We have a 24-acre site in a village that has water, sewer, municipal power, dual high-speed fiber, right near 5 and 5S. This is a site that's going to change the village of Frankfurt. The mayor is working on MOUs with us to still maintain the property, to monitor the wells in perpetuity. We see this as a fantastic first step, or several steps from other projects that we're working on. So Steve, it was a great question, and we're just excited to really market that Union Tool site.
Great. We do have another question. When will the next round of brownfield grants be offered by the EPA? I think I can answer that. Each year, EPA provides an opportunity for government entities and certain nonprofit organizations to compete for grants. Walter Mugden did list a few grants that he has supplied to the Mohawk Valley region just recently. These grants are to assess and clean up our brownfields. Grant proposal guidelines are typically posted to the EPA website and on grants.gov in late summer, early fall. You can monitor open, closed, and upcoming grant competitions on their website. Their website is epa.gov/brownfields. Let's check our question box. Okay. Here's another question. I have a site I believe is contaminated. How do I determine if it is? Would one of our county leaders, economic development organizations like to take that one? Maybe James Hannes or Ron Peters? I have a site I believe is contaminated. How do I determine if it is?
Yeah, hi, Steve, it's Ron. Yeah, that's a pretty good question. I mean, we see that all the time. You know, we've been fortunate enough that we were able to get an EPA grant to go out and do some site assessments, but they're gonna have to work with their county economic development organization and look at some kind of grant money or what's available there to go out and at least do a phase one, if necessary, do a phase two. But some of the sites that we're seeing is that, you know, they might look contaminated, might think they're contaminated, but when you do your phase one, it's not really contaminated. So I'm going to say they have to work with their, whatever municipality they're in, whatever county they're in, reach out to one of us 6 in the Mohawk Valley, and we can, you know, take you through the process of getting it, I guess, the phase one and phase two complete. That's going to be your primary task.
Okay. We do have some more discussion. Who performs the environmental assessment? That's you, Christy. Do you have a previous answer to a previous question?
Yeah, I was just going to kind of pile on to Ron's answer. You know, depending on what county you're in, you may be fortunate enough to avail yourselves of some of those recent EPA grants to do assessments. You know, to take some of the financial burden off you. And to Ron's point, you know, like you know, the phase one is never a bad thing to have, whether it's you, your bank, you know, your family, your posterity, whatever it is. All it does is kind of compile the records, you know, of prior use, prior land use, potential sources of contamination, and just alert you to those things and kind of tell you what the next steps are going to be. You know, so there's really no harm in doing it. You're not going to get yourself in trouble with the DEC or EPA or anything. It'll just give you clarity on what the history and potential contamination of the site is. So we're big advocates for it, and you're fortunate to be in a region that, you know, we've got 6 counties that really have are proactive in actually getting out and doing these assessments. So get a hold of us.
Excellent. You know, here at MVDD, we don't recruit developers for a particular property. What we do is work with our economic development organizations and lay the foundation for future economic development work by providing grants, infrastructure grants to their industrial parks in their 6 counties. We don't mind if they go into Oneida County or Herkimer County, Fulton, Montgomery, Schoharie, Otsego. It doesn't matter to us here at MVD since we're a 6-county body, as long as we hope that they do come to one of our counties, because just like Christian said before, a company coming into Oneida County, subsidiaries could be, could help out in Herkimer County, or they could help out in another county adjoining Otsego County, let's say. So us here at MVD, we're a 6-county body, so we provide those infrastructure grants, and we hope to help out everyone in all 6 of our counties. Let's see if we have another question. Who performs the environmental site assessment? Who actually performs it? Environmental site assessments, excuse me, are typically conducted by environmental consultants trained and experienced in the areas of environmental investigation and cleanup. Federal regulations require that AAI investigations be carried out by qualified environmental professionals who meet certain minimum requirements. If anyone from our EDOs would like to add on to that on who performs the environmental site assessments, please join in with your response. Okay.
Steve?
Yes, Ron.
This sounds like a phase one to me, and to Christian's point, you know, you have to go out and hire an environmental consultant, do a phase one on your property. That's where I would start. I think that's what the question might be addressing. There are a lot of consultants out there who could do that for you. And to Christian's point, there's nothing wrong with having a phase one on your property. If you're looking at older facilities, some vacant factories, yeah, potentially brownfield, nothing at all wrong with getting a phase one, and they're not that all expensive either. I've seen them running between $1,500 to $2,500 per assessment.
Right.
That's a decent range to work with, but go out there and get an environmental consultant to do that for you. That's your best bet. It's always good to have it in your back pocket should you need it.
Just an add-on for that question, who performs it? Who pays for the assessment? the assessment costs are typically paid for by the prospective purchaser, although under certain circumstances at the US EPA may be available to conduct these assessments at no cost to the municipality under its targeted brownfield assessment program. Or if you were lucky to apply for a grant and receive funds, obviously those funds could be used to help pay for a certain site. We do have another question. This one is from Michael Goldstein. Have you had any potential users for any of these sites who are ready to go but need a third-party developer to step in, take title, absorb the liability, and conduct the cleanup? Michael is asking because he represents a substantially capitalized, highly experienced group that is prepared to invest, provided that an end user tenant is in the wings. If we could have one of our EDOs respond to that question from Michael, that would be great. I can repeat part of that question. Have you had any potential users for any of these sites who are ready to go but need a third-party developer to step in? Julie Paquetti, Schoharie County.
Yes. Hi, Steve. Thanks. I will give this a shot. It's not my Schoharie County background, but where I came from, we were a little creative in how to move these projects forward. For example, I represented the local development corporation. What we decided to do as a quasi-government group is to set up an LLC that the property was moved from the city to the LDC, the local development corporation, into our LLC. That's where we started to do some of the investigation at the site to better understand that phase 1, phase 2. We were able to secure other grants so that we could fund some of that pre-development work. And then when we had the information, we were able to apply to the DEC Brownfield Cleanup Program. That LLC was then sold to the end user. So it was creating this real estate LLC vehicle that could do all of this due diligence pre-development work, kind of mitigating the risk for the municipality, mitigating the risk for the local development corporation. Certainly, the owner did not want to poke the bear, is the expression. They don't want to be caught believing that their site is a hot spot where a DEC or the EPA or somebody's going to come down heavy on them. So we created these other mechanisms. So again, the city transferred the property to our organization, the Local Development Corporation, as a quasi-government economic development group. We created an LLC in which we moved the property to. That entity conducted all of the pre-development work and some of the applications for funding and incentives, and then sold the LLC. So hopefully that answers the question.
Okay. Michael has a follow-up question to that. Do any of these sites have potential tenants? If so, we're ready to talk about buying a site or multiple sites and getting to work. So that's up for all 6 of our county EDOs, economic development organizations. Do any of these sites have potential tenants? If so, we're ready to talk about buying a site or multiple sites and getting to work. John Pisak, Herkimer County.
The aforementioned Union Tool site, we've showed to several developers already, several people that definitely want to put their businesses in there. The dual fold property, we're very close there. We have people that are interested in moving their businesses in there. So the answer to his question is yes. I would definitely like to speak with them about at least those 2 sites and a couple other sites that we have as well. So you can find all of my information on the handout today. Thank you.
Okay.
Well, I just clicked on here to see if I could beat John Piesick to the punch. I knew he would be the first. I just won 20 bucks on a bet that he would be the first one there. But no, you know, the neat thing right now is that you're seeing unprecedented investment in this region. We haven't seen this level of investment since the Erie Canal was built, you know, so we're here to capitalize on momentum. Because of that, even some of the most difficult sites are getting interest. But like John said, you know, like we are open for business. So the great thing is these property profile sheets not only have a lot of that additional information where you can kind of, you know, cull out or at least shortlist the sites that you're really interested in and the things that have the most potential for the brownfield tax credits or whatever you're interested in, but they also have the contact information on there. So I'll always point you back to the website, go look at those profile sheets, get the appropriate contact. And there's not a person on this this webinar that isn't pretty incredible to work with. So hopefully we hear from you soon.
Excellent. We'll try to get a more information out to Michael on his original question. Some of it was answered and he appreciates that. And some of it we need to get more information to Michael. So we will do that, Michael. We have another question. Maybe I can swing this question to our friends in Montgomery County, either Amanda Bearcroft or Vinny Nikosha. Why is brownfield development important for you folks in the city of Amsterdam and the rest of Montgomery County? If we can have Amanda or Vinny just respond on why is brownfield development so important?
I think, I mean, it's for Montgomery County, but the rest of the 6-county Mohawk Valley area is the same. And I spoke on it briefly, is that we have a very heavy industrial past. So, you know, we went from a city of 50,000 residents to around 18,000 with our current population. And that left a lot of empty industrial stock in our city along our waterfronts, the Mohawk River and the Chuctanunda Creek. So when we're talking about a city that is on both sides of the Mohawk River and you think that that would be an asset, which it absolutely is, but we have a lot of impending infrastructure in the way that needs to be either redeveloped or redefined. And so we have a lot of these areas that were just abandoned and left vacant that the city has unfortunately foreclosed on and took ownership of. And now we're at that point of figuring out how do we clean them up, how do we demolish them, and how do we market them to be redeveloped. So I think that's why brownfields in general and the opportunities that are there and the funding that is there is so important for places like the city of Amsterdam, Montgomery County, and the Mohawk Valley, because a lot of us struggle with the same issues of having these large, you know, 1 million square foot facilities that we need to redevelop and get rid of to bring our communities back into the limelight. So we're very adamant about brownfield funding and brownfield incentives and how do we get rid of a lot of these sites and how do we clean them up.
Great. Excellent. Anyone else like to chime in? If not, we can go on to another. You know, some of the easiest reasons for why development, brownfield development is important. Obviously, it increased property values. That's a huge concern. Everyone's always concerned about the value of their own property. And when you redevelop brownfields, it increases the property values of all the properties around it. It creates new jobs. It eliminates eyesores. That's a really big thing, which also adds to property value. We have another question for discussion. What would be the advantage of having a brownfield revitalization plan for my community? What would be the advantage of having a brownfield revitalization plan for my community? Kristen, do you have any thoughts on that from Oneida County?
You caught me eating a donut.
Oh, that's okay. I know we are into the lunch hour from 12 to 12:30, so that's not a problem.
So what's really important is this concept that CCLR brought forth is the brownfield revitalization roadmap or redevelopment roadmap. And all it really does is is kind of bring all the resources to the table, all the, all the information that's available, and provide kind of a layman's timeline and kind of prospectus on what those next steps are to get a project done. Everybody doesn't have, no one was born with brownfield expertise. Every single one of them is different. So each one of those things demands a roadmap. And then what you're probably going to find is that it's not alone, right? And that's why BOA, the Brownfield Opportunity Area Program, is so important because it looks at the impact of kind of a multiple brownfield revitalization plan on the greater community and the greater neighborhood, and how it can most positively impact the neighborhood and the area, not just the site itself. So try not to look just at the site. Try to build your roadmap around what the community's vision is and what will best serve that neighborhood. The state's got wonderful programs on it, whether it's Main Streets BOA, LWRP, Restore New York. There's so many ways to get assistance on this, and I would contact CCLR immediately, and they can kind of guide you through those things.
Yeah, CCLR, just for everyone's knowledge, Center for Creative Land Recycling, CCLR, and they've done a wonderful job with us the entire way for the last 6 months, so we could do this webinar. We were going to have it in person, but they helped us out getting our webinar done today. We've exhausted our questions. I'm checking the chat section and the questions in there. There is some talk that EPA grants opportunities are available right now. If you want to go on the EPA website, you can check that out. Again, all of our sites that we shown you today on the website of mvedd.org. Just click on Brownfields. Heather Devitt gave a nice demonstration of that. What we could do, we still have about 14 minutes left on this. Maybe we could go back to any of our 6 county economic development leaders if they want to just chime in quick and just give a last minute plug for their county. When we start off, let's start off with Otsego County and Megan Marino. I'm not sure if she's related to Dan Marino, but Megan, maybe you just want to do another 45-second plug on Otsego County.
Yeah, I'm not related to Dan Marino, but I've been asked a lot in my lifetime. I wanted to kind of go back to Michael Goldstein's comment about available sites and end users. And I had mentioned in my spiel there about an accelerator innovation center, and we have kind of been looking at the rail yards, which was on the slide as one of our sites. It's out in an opportunity zone. So we do have benefits available to it. We also have an ESD grant for that site. Since it's an opportunity zone, we'd be able to apply for another EDA grant for that site, which would provide up to 80% funding. So it doesn't exactly have an end user, but we do have businesses that want to help us create the Innovation Acceleration Center. So I think that might be a good fit for Michael. If you want to reach out to me, our contact information is in the slides and in the handouts and on mvedd.org. So many acronyms.
Yes, thanks, Megan. Let's go to Vinny Nakosha and Amanda Bearcroft with Montgomery County. Amanda is with the City of Amsterdam, and Vinny Nakosha, the remaining parts of Montgomery County. Vinny, go right ahead.
Yeah, thanks for attending, everyone. And again, Montgomery County definitely partners with developers and any organization looking to come into the county. And I think we're definitely in a strategic location with 3 throughway exits off of I-90 and access to major markets throughout New York State. We also, like I mentioned before, have the Exit 29 project, the former Beach Nut site, which is a big project for us right now. Currently, we have a PSA in place with a potential recreational marijuana facility on one half of the property. We kind of separated it into 2 halves. On the other side, we have some existing buildings still that we're looking to be redeveloped, and looking forward to any developer that has any ideas or is interested in that side of the site. So look forward to speaking with any of you on this call and future relationships.
Great, Benny. Amanda.
So obviously we have some information on just 2 of our sites in the deck that's included. But we have so many more strategic sites in our area now, having almost three designated brownfield studies for the area, as well as so many other opportunities because of the partnerships we have with state agencies and other funding resources. We really are at this point now of growth for the city of Amsterdam, which we haven't seen in such a long time. So in terms of development, we're really open to any type of development opportunities. We can stack the deck with funding options, tax incentives, but really it's just having that initial conversation with us and seeing what's available, what your site requirements are. So please, if anyone is looking to invest, we have a lot of different opportunities in the city of Amsterdam. Feel free to give me a call, send me an email, and we can set up a meeting and discuss the opportunities here.
Great. Let's go back to Fulton County with James Hannes or Ron Peters.
Yeah, thanks, Steve. I'm going to bounce it back a little bit more to my focus in Gloversville and do a shameless downtown plug a little bit. But I do want to talk about kind of how we're thinking about brownfields in the grand scheme of things, myself included. Everybody else on the call is talking about these sort of massive sites when brownfields can really also be gas stations and be train yards and rail yards and stuff as well. So in downtown Gloversville right now, we do have the BOA that we've been speaking about. We do have the LWRP that I've been speaking about. We're also hopefully going to be highly considered for this round's downtown revitalization initiative, and that's putting a lot of significant investment even towards the area of stacking on top of these other programs like the LWRP and the BOA. We have other incentives to stack on top of as well, including historic tax districts using tax incentives and pilot programs with the city. The city is very hungry right now to entice a lot of developers, private and public investment, to drive our next stage of revitalization. And we're swinging around this corner that we started 5 years ago, and we have a lot of projects that are looking up, one of which is behind me. So I'm looking forward to speaking more with everybody in person about it, and hopefully by the time we meet in the spring, I can come out and say that we're round 5's winner and have a little bit more intuition on projects. But thanks again for having
Excellent. Let's go to Schoharie County and Julie Piketty.
Thank you, Steve. To echo my friends in the region, we too are really focused on the mixed use and industrial sector opportunities in Schoharie County. The properties that are featured both lend themselves to either or, reform and rejuvenation. The Adler in the village of Sharon Springs will leverage all sorts of investment in hospitality and more hospitality funding that's coming. It's a really unique village that is one of 3 communities in New York State that still has a live spa culture, healing waters that can be channeled directly to that particular property that we're featuring at the Adler. It is privately owned. We have an eagerness on the public side to move some property. This is the reform side where we have an old jail. It's about 80,000 square feet that is also in a village. It's walkable to the village of Schoharie. That site lends itself to light industrial, some commercial, and potentially housing. So either or of these particular sites lend themselves to mixed use. The Steam 157 certainly has an industrial component. We are also working, as Amanda said, these are not the only 2 sites available in Schoharie County. We're working with other friends out of the Mohawk Valley Economic Development District, MRB Group, to identify some industrial development sites, turning some of our flat land into industrial sector use that responds to that supply chain gap. We too have access to no toll roads, 4 exits off of I-88 and a 15-minute drive up to the thruway. So Schoharie County is well positioned for reform, rejuvenation, and investment opportunities. Excellent. Here.
Thank you so much, Julie. Let's go to Herkimer County again and John Pisak.
Thanks, Steve. What I'd like to say to everybody out there is property is moving in central New York, upstate New York, and in Herkimer County. If you do have an interest in what you've seen today out of any one of our communities, I recommend that you touch base with us quickly. We have been marketing all of these properties very actively. The site I mentioned, the Union Tool site in Frankfurt, with all its amenities and infrastructure in place, we feel as though it's a very hot project. And we'll see about 24 acres of development there soon. And, you know, we'd like to talk to anybody out there who's very interested. I think it was a great day. I'm not a big fan of this virtual meetings, but I know when we all get together, we're all going to say, hey, that was a good meeting and it made us think. So I'd like to thank everybody involved, Steve for hosting, you know, C. Clear, who's been phenomenal with us, all of us for such a long time, you know, Jean and Claire. I mean, we're just excited to keep the ball rolling. So thank you very much.
Thank you. And last but not least, Christian, I hope I gave you enough time.
Yeah, I would just like to echo John's thanks for for everybody's participation and all their work that went into this, and we really look forward to meeting you guys in the spring, and bring your friends. So just briefly, a quick plug for Utica, Rome, and Oneida County. You know, Rome's DRI, I think we were a round 2 DRI winner, is one of the most successful DRIs in the state in terms of projects executed, you know, and implementation. It really does change a community, that level of investment in that small of a geographic area. You know, the Brownfields and planning professionals in Rome, you know, Diana Samuels and Matt Andrews, like some of the best planners, you know, you know, I've had the pleasure to work with. They are open for business. So, you know, reach out to them anytime. Just down the street, the city of Utica, not only do they have a DRI award, they also just kicked off their Brownfield Opportunity Area Step 2 nomination study, and they are hitting the ground running. And like many of those DRIs, the BOA and the DRI overlaps there. So talk about stacking and layering incentives, and guys like Jack Spaeth and Brian Thomas, Chris Lawrence over there really have a great handle on, and are a great vision and a great handle on how to execute that vision. Mohawk Valley Edge, you know, like Griffiths Local Development Corporation, we've seen $150 million in investment just in Griffiths Technology Park, which was a big Superfund site, in the past 2 years. You know, that's pushing 900 million over the past, you know, 20 years. And that's over a tough 2 years, right? So we have nothing but growth ahead of us. The trend looks amazing as far as investment. And it's a testament to the team we bring to the table. And finally, we just really look forward to implementing the US EPA assessment grant that was recently awarded by the EPA. We're going to surface a few more sites and bring them to market as well. So by the spring, I think we'll have a little more to bring to the table too. So we're excited.
Great. Thanks so much, Christian. And thanks to everyone who participated today. Thanks for all of you who are in attendance. This Brownfield Developer Summit webinar series, I think, was a great success. The whys and where to invest in the Mohawk Valley, New York. We hope you enjoyed it, and we hope to see you at our live event in the spring of 2022. You'll be able to access the slides and recording on our website, www.mvedd.org. So we hope to see all of you in the spring. So I hope everyone has a wonderful day and the rest of the week. Take care, everyone.